Okay, boys and girls. Coffee with Scruff is kind of a day late today because it was a bit of a hybrid yesterday. Let me kind of explain for those who've not been here before. Most Saturdays, Joanne's out the house, so I normally just come to camera and do a coffee with Scruff, and it's just me giving you my thoughts for 20 minutes or so.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
Now, I run a Scruffy Squad, and it's a little Discord group, and I genuinely try and help the guys, and I'm often asked for breakdowns, which I do before I go to market. Why do I do that? Well, it's very simple. It's very easy to tell you what I've done after the event. It's a little bit harder to do it before the event.
Are you sure?
So that's kind of like my point of difference. It's basically just keeping me accountable. Now, yesterday, I kind of built that into a coffee with Scruff, and it ran on a lot longer than I anticipated, so I ran out of time, hence why I'm here on a Sunday morning. And I don't have my coffee. This is no good. You know, Winky's not doing a job. You know, could almost cry. You know, I'm withering away here.
Are you serious?
Because we all know Scruffy likes his coffee, but he also loves his job. And the key element is here, it is a job. Now, when I was doing the little sort of thing yesterday, I'll flick it up again in a minute, because I'm just finishing something off this morning. I had lots of comments, lots of sort of DMs coming in. Now, remember, I only ever answer DMs. I'll never DM you first. Okay? Just there's a lot of copycats out there, and I've got to kind of remind you on videos about that. And they're kind of split. Some understand what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Others think it's a waste of time.
How does that gobshite get on the television?
Well, for those who understand it, they'll understand that if you love your job, you've got to put the work in. And if you put the work in, that means you learn a craft and a skill, and eventually it becomes really easy. Oh, I've got the coffee.
There you go. Here to see you cry.
What?
Are you and your coffee?
I always cry. Well, I do, you know, because she picks on me.
I do not.
She's a horrible wife.
Will you check your breakfast?
She's a wonderful wife. Nah, she's my best friend. She really is my best friend. But what I'm getting at is they understand that you've got to put your apprenticeship in, you've got to do the work, and if you take shortcuts, well, you're probably not going to last long in that employer. Which is probably the other side of the fence who think it's a waste of time. They're the ones who always take the shortcuts and then cry when they get sacked from that job, because it's never their fault.
You know, you're a classic example of the inverse ratio between the size of the mouth and the size of the brain.
You know, most people are not sacked just willy-nilly. It's normally either a personality clash, which again, you shouldn't be there in the first place. You are fecking useless at the job, so again, you're going to get sacked. So it's always somebody else's fault. It's never your fault. They're always like to play the victim card. And that's amplified in this industry. You know, the broker took me out. All this sort of thing. Stop hunt. Oh, it's a load of rubbish. It's only a load of rubbish because you haven't put the work in. Now, when you sort of try and turn money into something else, it's also got to be realistic. So case in point, because there was a lot of like chitter-chatter around this. Now on a weekend, if you're trying to trade sort of any markets other than the crypto markets, you're probably wasting your time. Spreads are too big, it's very sluggish, and you're not going to get anywhere. BTC, however, Bitcoin, it still moves. But it's actually the other way around. I don't really trade this during the week too much. I do, but I wouldn't put a big trade on during the week because it's too volatile. So it's actually the other way. But on a weekend, because it slows down, it becomes a nice gentle market to trade. And if you're dealing with pennies, which I am, well, that works to your advantage. Case in point. But also, I do know if you see something that's running like that, there's sort of like a good run on the hourly. That is a sizable move. And it's big enough that if you've oversized, it'll cripple you. Now, if you're dealing with pennies, so in this case, and I'll just pull this in because people are interested in what this is as well. This is what's called a growth tracker. You'll see it on my website if you want to check it out. And it's very simple. You put your position size or your balance here. So it's 15 quid. Underneath it, how much you want to grow per day. Now, when you've got small accounts, and I mean like sort of sub £1,000, sub £5,000, 2% is a breeze, right? Really simple. And on this sort of account, 2% on 15 quid is unbelievably easy, all right? If you respect the process. Here, you put your base, like how much you want per 1,000, per 100, whatever. I work on £1,000, so it works out about 10p per 100. And it'll then calculate roughly what your size of position is. So you'll be working on 10p for every 100. So you're working with micros, all right? Now, when you got 15 quid, you've got no other choice but to use leverage. And that's why I use BlackBull, because it's got probably a sensible leverage outside of ESMA rules that is protected at this moment in time. So I go to BlackBull, and again, if you want to check it, go on the website, go on the links below. I can trade 10p positions on 15 quid, but I've got to be very mindful of that because it's actually over leveraged. Okay, so therefore I've got to be in and out of the market relatively quickly, which is what's brought up the conversation today, and I'll come on to that in just a second. Then it's got what's going on, so it's the balance of the account versus the P&L. How many days I've been into this, so just sort of counts down so I can work it out. Target growth at this moment in time, I should only be at 38% growth based on a 2% day. I'm actually at 891. Put your start date in, up on the top, put some notes. It'll work out the current date, so it'll tell you how many days it's been running. You can have goals inside of goals. So I look at like 20 quid a week. So we started off with 20 quid. We're already sort of 9.3 into it with 14 to go. So you just put your goal in there. This bit here is what people kind of got a bit worried with. If you take any money out, drop it in there. And if you're restarting your target, just put whatever the growth is. So whatever the P&L is, put that there and it'll reset that to 0. So that's how that worked. Now at the moment, we are looking on day 19 for 296. So I've already done 86p, but I need to update that because I've done a little bit more. So where are we up to at the moment? Well, I've done 132. So if I just drop that to 132, just like so, you can see it's edging up, all right? And as soon as that beats that, it'll turn green, and that'll tell me to stop, all right? So that's the essence of what's going on. Now, when we're looking at this, just switch that off. See, we're at 25p. So how far have I got to go? Well, if I'm at 132, so it's about 175. Just change that global target to 175. And I'll just keep chipping away till that balances off. So I could take that out now. It's still running up. Let's have a quick look at it. So we can see what's going on. Right, it's pushing high. I can see it's extended. Is it going to run right the way to the top? Possibly not. So we'll just close that off. All right. Let it relax, and then I'll go back into it in an hour or so. So what's that? So we're now at 171. Okay. So I can alter that to 171. Okay. So happy days. We haven't got far to go now. Maybe he's £1.30. Okay. So drop £1.30 into there. And then across the day, I'll look for £1.30. Now, I pulled that because it is high on the 5-minute chart and there'll be a little bit of a pullback due. And then I'll go back into continuing with the trend.
The moral of this story is,
why have I done all of this? Well, it's really just to show you that if you plan something out and you work towards it, it'll pay its dividends. Now, if I was swinging at the fences, what if it turned? Take everything away from me. Why do I chip at it? Now, in this scenario, I've got no other choice but to chip at it, because I can't allow it to run against me. So essentially, I haven't got the buying power to ride the noise. Now, if that's the case, I've then just got to build it up step by step. And if I take 20p here, 30p there, £1 here, and then when I hit the target, I quit, well, it means tomorrow I've got a little bit more in the petrol tank that I can work with. And that's the general gist of trading. Now, those who come in and they just look for shortcuts, they wouldn't understand that. They'll just put the position on and try and hold it to the moon.
Who'd be stupid enough to do that?
Justify, stupid.
Now, once in a blue moon, that'll happen. But in the process, it'll wipe your account out. Why? Because I'm going to go back to the leverage at the start. I know this account is over leveraged because I'm dealing with pennies. So therefore, anything that is good on the upside would be catastrophic on the downside. You've got to respect the leverage, respect the job. And most people can't do that. And I see it all the time. And I come across people that will never make it in this industry, but they will always complain. And they'll complain because they've got zero respect for it. And it's the same when I was in industry. You know, I had good people who I worked with for years and years and years, and I had others, I got rid of them in the first week. Why? Because I can see it in them. You know, if they're not willing to put the effort in, there's no point spending any time with them. So you just get rid. You know. Is that a fair thing?
Yeah. Yeah, I've got yours.
I was going to say, there was almost a fight there.
Yeah,
You know, you would have seen a fight, boys and girls. You see what she did? She hid my sandwich
When you
away
were
from.
talking, I didn't think you'd want me bacon sandwiches in front
I always want me bacon sandwiches. Have you seen the size of my belly?
You've been good this week. You've had fruit and yogurt.
To see how good she was there, because normally, right, if I said to her, if we were in private and said, "You see the size of my belly?" She said, "I know, you fat bastard. It's about time you went for a walk," right? And she is horrible to me like that. But when she's on camera, she comes across as if butter wouldn't melt in her mouth.
I am not horrible.
I wish I could get something
Who
else
made
into
you
your mouth.
breakfast?
Eh?
Who made you breakfast?
Leave your cock. Shut up. Right?
Who made you breakfast? What do you should this? I'm eating mine.
Well, I wish you would eat something.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Mince and dumplings. Or should we have toad in the hole?
How does your missus put up with you? Must be my legendary prowess as a lover.
You're eating. Shut up, Scruff. Stop being rude. I wasn't being rude. I was being lovely.
You are the most immature man I've ever met.
You're better not.
Yes, you are.
Not.
Oh, God, give me strength.
Do you like it?
Yeah, of course I do.
Oh, I'll get back to this now then.
Yeah, we forgot what you're doing.
I always forget what I'm doing. She does do that to me, you know, boys and girls. She does that to me all the time. So, what's the moral of the story? Moral of the story is really do the work. Put your apprenticeship in. But respect what you're doing. Now, if I had my bigger account, I wouldn't be really carving because I've got enough room that I can ride the noise out and I can allow it to move a little bit further against me, stage into that much better, and then allow it to come forward. On this account, I can't. I don't have that luxury. So I have to get in and get out. Now, when you look at any sort of progress, you've got to start at the beginning and work at the end. Now, if you're going to revise and do very well at school, you need to know that subject inside out in order to pass your exam. But if you just skimmed over the history books, you've got a warped sense of what that history is. You don't actually know what that history is. So when you come to write your essays, etc., it becomes warped. And you're You know, because what you got to remember is to forget history is to repeat it. And that's what trading's all about. It's the same principle. So if you look through my modules and you've just glanced through them and gone straight to pick out little bits, but you haven't spent any time understanding what they are, you're wasting your time. You know, it's just, there's no magic pills, guys. And when I see that sort of thing, I really got no time for those people. Zero. Because there's no point. You know, all I'm doing is wasting my time. And my time is what is precious. Because I didn't skim through anything. I took years to learn the craft. And I'm still learning the craft. You know, 20 years this year. And the markets move constantly. So you've got to move your sort of working knowledge constantly. But the core principles will always be the same. They've never changed. And it's level to level, points of interest with a direction.
I love it when a plan comes together.
That's it. Very simple. But unless you know what drives that market, you don't know why the point of interest there in the first place. Hope that kind of makes sense. Cherish your thoughts. I'm very easy found. You find my contact details down below. If you go on my website, you'll see all the bits and pieces that I use. But always remember, no tool is useful unless you know what drove the tool in the first place, which is why understanding the charts and understanding the movement of the chart is the number one priority. Anything else, looking for the system, the magic indicator, the magic tool, wasting your time. Learn the craft and you'll be fine. So as always, guys, trade well, keep your risk managed, but above all, do what you love and the money will follow. See you all in the next one.